Hey guys, and welcome back to That LP Show. The name of the game is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past for the Super NES. We got our assignment from Sahasrara. We want to get one of 3 pendants, the first being the Pendant of Courage from the palace over to the east, properly named the East Palace. We have a weak cracked wall right there, which we can easily break open by using bombs, but I'm going to hold off on that for right now because I'm going to be showing an alternate means of destroying weak walls a little later in the game. And right here we have Armo statues. They come to life when you get really close to them, and they bounce around, and you can make easy work of them with just regular sword swipes. See, this is one of the reasons that I really liked A Link Between Worlds as opposed to more modern Zelda games. Is in games like Twilight Princess or specifically Skyward Sword, they were trying to make combat like a central focus of the gameplay, trying to make that really interesting. But Zelda's never really been about fighting enemies. I mean, it's part of it, but for the most part, it's about exploration and puzzle solving. Combat should be a relatively small part of it, and I'd say about 33% of it, but it shouldn't take up the majority. Although, I am on the bandwagon of liking Skyward Sword because, one of the reasons I really like Skyward Sword is because of the interesting combat. It's one of the in that sense, it reminded me a lot of Zelda 2 because of how precise you had to be with fighting enemies and properly using your sword and your shield in order to block and counter. Okay, so as you can see, here we are in the East Palace, and well, there's nothing in the other 2 doors, so we just come here, and there's kind of a weird off-positioned floor switch right there, which we can use to open up other doors. And right here, we need to block these metal balls. Every once in a while, a big one comes out, and you have to hide into one of the little cubby holes on the side. That's actually one of the unchanged features of the East Palace when it comes to A Link Between Worlds. I don't want to draw too many comparisons to A Link Between Worlds during this playthrough, and I don't want to talk too much about the plot of A Link Between Worlds because, I don't want to spoil anything. I actually kind of liked the story of A Link Between Worlds towards the end there. It had a nice little twist, which I honestly did not see coming at the time. Maybe I was just being really unobservant and stupid, but yeah, if you played A Link Between Worlds, you know what plot twist I'm talking about, and no, I did not notice it. Okay, so here we have Stalfos, classic enemy of the Zelda series, and for some reason, oh yeah, when you swing at them with your sword, they bounce back, so best way to take one of these guys out is to get real close and do a spin attack, and it takes them out in one shot. Oddly enough, though, if we take our boomerang, it actually does damage to them. It doesn't just stun them, so after a few hits, you can actually kill a Stalfos with a boomerang, which I think is kind of weird. Okay, we have some pots here. Underneath the middle pot, we have a switch. I think there's just regular items underneath all of these, or maybe just hearts. Items that we don't really need right now that we'll get plenty of later. So just hit the switch underneath the middle pot, and you can come down. We get a map. And in here, we have some... you can't see them, but there are pots under here. And there's hearts if you need them. And that's pretty much the only reason we came over to this side of the palace, is because we needed the map. So if you don't want the map, you can just skip it if you want. I'm going to try to do a semi-100% run. I know most people don't see getting the map and compass as in the dungeons as part of 100%, but I thought I'd show them off anyway, just to, explore every room of the dungeon, show as much as I can of the game, and you know what, I really don't want to hassle with these guys. Like I said before, combat is not a major focus point of classic Zelda games, unless they do one of these things, where you need to destroy all of the enemies in order to unlock a room, which I think is kind of a cheap way of padding out the game. I mean, just make it a puzzle or something. Anyway, I'm just going to take all these guys out real easily with these pots and move on. And here, easy access to the compass, which shows us the point of the dungeon's evil master. Does it also show the location of treasure chest? You know what? No, it doesn't. However, if we look down on the map of floor 1, you can see the flashing part is me, and a little over to the right, and a few rooms over, we see a large pink or orange block. I can't really make out what color it is exactly, but that actually shows the location of the dungeon's main treasure. Link, it is I, Sahasrahla. I can talk to you telepathically when you touch these tiles. Here's a hint. You can use the treasure hidden in this palace to defeat armored foes. Okay, so yeah, this game pretty much started the tradition, the old Zelda tradition of find a treasure in a dungeon, use the treasure from the dungeon to beat that dungeon's boss and solve that dungeon's puzzles. And that kept going on and on and on and on endlessly until A Link Between Worlds. Okay, so we have a hidden passage right here. If we equip our bug catching net, we can actually catch some fairies, which in this game is spelled Fairy for some reason. They actually, I don't think that's an improper spelling of fairy, just a very old spelling of fairy. And they change it to the more traditional Fairy in the Game Boy Advance remake. So we can go ahead and carry these fairies in bottles, so if we get knocked out, if we lose all of our health, we are automatically revived. We're going to avoid that guy right now, and we can't unlock that big chest right now because we need the big key and we don't have it yet, so we're going to have to go all up and down and all around in order to find it. Okay, so let me get this boomerang real quick so I can kill that guy and grab that rupee real quick as I'm going through this door so I don't get hit by those anti-fairies, even though I'm going to get probably hit by them on the way out. Don't really need to take out all these knights. I mainly want to come over to this jar right here in order to get a key and then move on. And don't hit me, anti-fairies, don't hit me, anti-fairies, don't hit me, anti-fairies, don't hit me, anti-fairies. Okay, you didn't drop anything, so I wasn't tempted to go back and grab anything. We'll get something later on to deal with those anti-fairies, but for right now, we can't kill them. Well, I guess I could have taken a slight detour in order to get that item early, but, you know, not a really big deal. They're easy enough to avoid. Okay, so we need to take out all the enemies in this room. This enemy right here, I can't remember what it's called, I think it's called an Iclops, maybe an Igor, I can't remember. It's some sort of weird play on words with the word I, but we need to wait for it to open its eye and charge at us before taking it out. There's actually a red variation later on, which we will only be able to take out with arrows, I believe. But the green ones we can take out in any way, shape, or form we feel. So those anti-fairies disperse from that jar after defeating the other enemies, and we can hit that button and make this chest appear for a big key. So now with that in hand, oh, come on, get out, oh god. Come on, out of my way, worms. Can you, ugh, I don't want to get hit by them. Wow, are you really going to give me this much trouble just trying to get up there? Really? Okay. There we go. Wow, I've never had that much trouble with those guys. I usually zip past them pretty quickly. Okay, you should recognize this room. And with big key in hand, we can now open up that big chest, and let's see what we got. You know what, I want to take this guy out real quick because I just want to make a quick beeline over to the door to the north after opening this chest. And we got the bow, and with this, we can now make use of these 30 arrows that we have in our inventory already. So yeah, those Stalfos right there, those weird ones with the disembodied heads, they come down after you open the chest. That's one of the reasons I wanted to make that beeline to the next rooms, because I really didn't want to deal with them. Okay, we got all these, I can't remember. Tangalas? No, I think I'm thinking of a Pokemon right there. Kind of remind me of Tangela. Is Tangela a Pokemon? My Pokemon knowledge is limited. I mean, most of my Pokemon knowledge I've learned vicariously through Super Smash Brothers. Okay, now I took all those guys out. Got my key that I need to open up that door. But first, I'm going to come into this room because I can get some free rupees in here. And dodge those guys easy enough. Okay, moving on. And I think we can stop dealing with the darkness as soon as we unlock this locked door. Alright, underneath one of these jars is a button. It's underneath this one. There we go. And I'm not going to dawdle around in here so I don't get hit by those anti-fairies. Okay, we need to trick one of these guys. We don't want to awaken all 3 of them at one time because that can be kind of a hassle to deal with. We're just going to take these guys out one at a time, get real close, take them out. Get real close to this guy, take them out. And as you can see, they do drop arrows, so you don't have to be too worried about running out of arrows when fighting them. Okay, we got these off-colored tiles here. Only one of them is an actual button. Okay, now in here, we're going to get assaulted by cannonballs coming from all different directions. So we want to make a quick beeline over to this button, wait for an opening, and then go down. It takes quite a bit of rhythm in order to make it through without getting hit. Okay, here's the red Cyclops that I was talking about. We can only take them out with arrows. 2, in fact. Most other attacks will be reflected. And now we're dealing with 2 of them. Gonna take some maneuvering to take out both of them at the same time because there's no way to actually get close and awaken them without awakening both. So just quickly take out one of them with 2 arrows and then avoid the other guy until he goes to sleep and then revive him when he's all by his lonesome. And there you go. Nothing but arrows in these pots or hearts. We don't need any of them, so let's just move on. And it's boss time with the Armos Knights. And you can pretty much take these guys out just with simple sword swipes, and you can pretty much take them out at any point. I'm just going to hide here in the corner and wait for them to line up, and then I'm going to take out this first one with 3 arrows, and if you're quick enough, you can take out about 2 of them, and then they go back into their circular pattern after stomping all the way down to the bottom of the room. And you're pretty much safe the entire time you're hidden in a corner there. So if you just want to take a breather, go hide in the corner, and they cannot hurt you. There you go. All right. Down to only 2. Now we're going to have to be extra quick taking out these last 2, because after you take the second to last one out, the last one becomes... Oh, open up my console. My virtual console menu. Didn't want to do that. Anyway, after you take out the last one, the second to last one, the red one the last one becomes very red and very angry, and there's no way you can hide from him. If you try to hide in a corner, he will just follow you around. So yeah, it gets kind of tough to take out. Now, like in Zelda tradition, every time you beat a boss, he drops a heart container. Now, the only way to make the MacGuffin, the story MacGuffin for this dungeon appear is to grab the heart container, making this one of the Zelda games that it is impossible to do the self-imposed challenge of a 3-heart run. So, yeah, can't do that in this game. 'Tis impossible. You won the Pendant of Courage. Take it to Sahasrahla. 2 pendants remain. All right. And we get a health refill and a magic refill, and now we just need to take this Pendant of Courage back to Sahasrahla to say, hey, look, old man, just because I'm a little kid doesn't mean I can't wield the legendary Master Sword, so what's the deal with Ocarina of Time? But that's going to have to wait until next time. And until next time, thank you for watching That LP Show, and have a one that is good.